So some of you may have seen the clips that are making the rounds on Twitter, or have been over the last several days or a couple of weeks, of Catboy Cammy doing these ultra racist streams, being very based, This guy has been doing some, stuff that I find funny. I think everyone finds it funny. A user Zuckmeister on Twitter, very good guy. He pointed out very astutely that Cammy is actually making Nick Fuentes look like a Zyocon pussy. It's very true. He did a stream where he dressed up in blackface and said the N-word to black people. Then he did one where he dressed up like an Asian with yellow face and did something similar. And the last one, he dressed up like an Orthodox Jew or a rabbi, and he started denying the Holocaust. So, I mean, it's funny, it's amusing, it's entertaining stuff. But I remember who this guy is. Now, I was trying to find a clip because I wanted to do a video about this, just talking about this guy. I was trying to find one short clip, and instead I stumbled across an interview with the same user, a YouTube guy named Leo Pirate. And this guy has quite a few subscribers now, but he covered a lot of the Catboy Cammy stuff months ago when it was really trendy. And I find this interview very telling, and throughout it I started to develop a theory about Cammy, about who he is and about what has happened to him and why he's doing this. Because I'm not convinced in the slightest that this guy is honest, that he's authentic, or that he's doing this because he wants to red pill the normies. And yeah, I'm gonna play one little clip that's a little bit out of place but still relevant, and then I'm gonna launch into what my theory about this is.
You also didn't just get posters and your wallpaper. You even made your what is it, channel logo at one point a reference to the child sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's
because
going on there?
I wanted like a simple picture that was like easy to draw and shit, but at the same time was like super provocative and possibly like a red pill or something, and at the same time kind of like represented the idea of like lolly in some way, sort of thing.
So that didn't come from your paranoid schizophrenic.
A reference to no, this was my idea. It triggered the fuck out of paranoid schizophrenics that watched my stream, though. Because everyone that saw that shit and knew what it meant, they either laughed their ass off or they thought they were the first one ever to recognize the symbolism.
Well, because I was going to say, yeah, you said it was a subtle red pill, and then you also say it's to trigger the schizophrenics. What is the red pill? Because I fear is...
The red pill is... A lot of people don't know what Pizzagate is.
So if they didn't know, by seeing that logo, they would know what it meant?
Well, they could ask. It's like a conversation starter.
Oh, it's a conversation starter. Because the thing is, I feel as though someone who would see that, they must already know what it means. And at worst, it only makes it harder for people to really identify pedophiles who commonly use that iconography. And keep in mind, it's not just pedophile elites that use that. It's a common boy lover and girl lover logo that's used not necessarily only by the elites. There are actually dedicated Twitter groups for pedophilia. They're pedophile subforms that use the same iconography. So by using that as a joke, I'm not sure if you'd be aware, all you'd be doing is basically making it more difficult for people to recognize real pedophiles. But I think the joke for you is you're saying...
Yeah, I agree. Like, we shouldn't make rape jokes on Twitter because that sort of normalizes rape, and then we don't know whenever someone's, like, really talking about rape, and that's, like, a serious problem, man. We've got to, like...
Now, this is the symbol that Leo's talking about here. This is the symbol that he used on DLive. It was the symbol for his channel, and it as Leo points out, is an FBI-recognized symbol for boy and girl love. So, very, very strange, very, very disgusting shit. But, he says, well, it's just a joke, and it's a conversation starter. And then Leo points out, no, actually, this does exactly the opposite of what you say. And he deflects by saying, well, yeah, it's just a joke. Like, what, you can't make jokes about that? No, that's not the point. You're deflecting away from the point. But that's not the most damning thing about this. This guy, again, it's like lolicon, right? Just laugh, just have a little nervous laugh very loudly, and then deflect with irony. So let's just listen to him explain how ironic his interest in lolicon really is.
Well, I'm just
that shit very seriously.
my problem is I'm not even convinced it's a joke, because the joke obviously is that you're not a pedophile, right? That's a part of the joke.
I mean, I don't know. I guess
there's a long pause there.
I just thought
Raleigh
it was
Socks
funny.
are not
It's
helping
like,
me out here.
No, it's like no. I'm like, I don't see how that's part of the joke. The joke is it's like this.
Oh,
really,
okay, well, are you
I hate explaining.
then...
I hate explaining jokes. I hate explaining jokes because then they're not funny anymore. But it's like like this really offensive thing that's like just out in the open, and normies like don't know what it is, but at the same time you can explain it to them, and then that's where like the red pill part comes in. You sort of see what I'm getting at here.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, the worst thing is explaining not a joke, but an unfunny joke, a one that makes people think you're a pedophile. Because I heard in a different stream, people have many times accused you of pedophilia from many, long before you met Fuentes. This accusation, this idea has been kind of hanging in the air, and I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit more, because you said that's not a part of the joke. So can I ask you straight up, are you sexually attracted to children in any way?
No.
Not in any way.
The amount of times I've had to answer that, it's fucking ridiculous. It's funny.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because it's a recurring issue for you. Because what I found when I was doing... So when I was doing a analysis of your YouTube auto-generated subtitles, I stumbled across a stream where it didn't seem to be a joke. You weren't doing a skit or a bit. You were in an interview with many other people. And one of the guys joked about you masturbating to children, and you corrected him and you said, no, I masturbate to anime lollies. Big difference. Do you actually masturbate to lolicon, to illustrated images of children?
I have jacked off to lolly hentai in the past.
Amazing!
But I do draw a distinction between lolicon and like actual child pornography. For one, they look completely different to children. Like pretty sure in that very same video, I like pulled a poster off my wall and I was like, "Have you ever seen a child, like a real one, with tits and hips like this?" No, like there's secondary sex characteristics.
Okay, so then if I may ask, what is the appeal of lolicon to you then?
Short chicks.
Just hot.
Pretty much, yeah.
Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. He only likes animated children with thick hips. So it doesn't count. It doesn't count. It's just short chicks, right? Again, that nervous laugh at the end. It's very telling, isn't it? It's very telling about this guy. And you know what's really interesting is that in the video that I was originally trying to find, he actually explains this away by saying, well, it's not a felony. It's not a felony. It's not a crime. I believe he actually says it in this video as well. He says it's not a crime to look at this, which is actually not true. That's actually a lie. It's actually very criminal in his home country of Australia. In the United States, the laws are a little bit vague, but most people who've been prosecuted for possession of it have been prosecuted under obscenity laws. But it is illegal, and people have been prosecuted for it. Now, this is significant. This is significant because, as he's going to explain, the feds have actually been watching him for some time, and they were calling around about people that he knew to ask questions about potentially illegal activity.
I've jacked off to a lot of degenerate porn before, dude. Not child porn, FBI, not anything illegal. Making that very clear. And that's not a performance either. Just saying that because a lot of people get that shit twisted.
I was going to ask, I'm glad you made that distinction, because I was sent a screenshot from, I believe, your Telegram group. And I wanted to ask you about that because you brought that up. I'm just going to read the transcript of it. Oh, what you said is, this is you speaking, right? They've been calling people I know and asking if I'm tied to white nationalist groups and shit. And they say, really? Australia?
Yeah. The FBI was looking into me. No, it was American. Not
okay, right. So it says American,
Australian.
And you said American, and then you said, I think they're trying to entrap me with lollies too. How did they try to entrap you?
I can't even remember writing that. It sounds like a shitpost, though.
But were these, they were calling other people? Were they calling you? Were they sending pictures of lolly? Like, I was just baffled by that.
No. That's like a shitpost. But no, they were calling people that know me.
Had that happen to
So,
me.
I
Though
mean, yeah, so I don't know if like that's what you're referring to, but I'm not
no, I just
finding
was
like
confused by how the FBI was reaching you. Like, why were they interested in you?
I don't know. I was talking about what you were talking about before with me privating videos, apparently.
Oh yeah, that's already settled. We
Yeah,
agree. You had no idea why. You were just told, and from that, I was interested to know that Fuentes' camp
yeah,
were the ones who were watching and telling you that. So that's already done. But I am interested in why the police were
yeah.
contacting your family members and you.
Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. They were just asking. I don't really know.
They didn't
Um,
tell like
like
why. Was it because of your relationship with Fuentes? Was it because of your
I'm
previous
not sure.
streams?
They didn't say why specifically they were looking for me.
But they definitely contacted your family members and you.
Huh? No, they didn't. I didn't say who they contacted specifically. I just said they contacted people that know me.
They've been calling people I know now. So like when they asking if I'm tied to white nationalist groups and stuff. So they didn't contact you, but they contacted your family, and they told you, "Hey, I got a call from a police officer asking what you have to do with white national." I just want to get a clearer picture of what that means.
Yeah. So the people that were contacted me and said, "Hey, these guys contacted me and asked if you are tied to any, if you have any like white nationalist standing or whatever, or if you're tied to like it was more like being tied to groups like militias or shit like that, like Adam Waffen type shit." And they said
Oh, okay.
no, not and they said no, not that I know of, and that's fair of them to say because I'm not. So, yeah,
Yeah, no. Yeah, I was just confused why you'd be under their radar, and I just like want to know what triggered that. If it, again, a lot of your D live streams, they're all gone because you got.
So I'm a little bit confused here. So the FBI did call around about you. They did call people that you know to find out if you have been involved in any sort of illegal activity. And yet the other part of the post is a joke. He doesn't. Oh, I don't remember writing that. That sounds like a shit post. Okay, well, why were the FBI looking into you? And we know that this whole crowd is infested with feds, right? We know Milo is a fed. Prince Hubris has talked about having people in the FBI who quote unquote owe him favors. There's a very good reason to believe that Cammy was in contact with the FBI, and yet it's like, well, maybe they did entrap you. This is my theory. This is my theory. I'm wrapping the tinfoil around my head right now. This is my theory. I think that the FBI did find you. I think that they did get a warrant to search your phone, your laptop, whatever. And I think they found something. I think they got you on something. And I think they told you, look, if you don't do what we say, we're going to put you away for a long fucking time, Cammy. And so, maybe this was before, maybe this was after the whole Fuentes thing. Because he actually admits in the stream that he actually had met Fuentes prior to this, which I don't believe Nick ever admitted to. But Cammy says, yeah, we met a few years ago in Chicago. So these guys were friends. They knew each other before this, before the stream, before all the drama. And yet, like this guy, and now he's rebranding himself. And I'm gonna play a little clip here. You know, he's now become essentially a wignat, right? He's dropped the optics shtick, and he's just going full on like, you know, blackface, doing all the rest of it. He doesn't care about optics. He doesn't care about tact. He doesn't care about presentation. He's just doing like Goyim Defense League stuff now. So it's very interesting that only a few months ago he said this about quote unquote right wing faggots.
snide remark there.
Right, you didn't have to sit
When
through 10 hours of my content either, but so I understand.
I mean, why did you? Like, why would you sit through 10 hours of something
Because
that you don't even like?
when I'm going to
It's
talk to
weird,
someone,
dude.
I want to learn whether or not these accusations of pedophilia are real. It's a very real issue. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there
Who
are
cares?
people.
Like, bro, if you are actually trying to like deal with pedophiles, you should be calling the police, not
Right. Okay.
doing some gay internet debate. Like, if you actually have some hard evidence against me or anyone else, instead of doing some gay internet show where you're holier than that, you should call the fucking cops. So, have you found anything on me, or
No, because a lot of
like,
it's
oh, okay.
deleted. I wanted you to elaborate on that. How successful has this been? Has anyone like reformed their life from your live streams or your anime posters? They see Lolicon every day.
Yeah, actually, yeah. A lot of people have gotten into working out. A lot of people have gotten out of the house because you see, a lot of these like right wing faggots, they're real concerned about the kikes and all of that, when really they should be more concerned about things closer to home, like getting a job and a girlfriend and shit like that.
So
And
they see you.
definitely people
They see you wake up with your erect boner lying around with anime images everywhere, and they just have this sudden
very hostile
epiphany.
here,
No,
bro.
but they have this epiphany, and they're go, "Oh, now I get it. I'm gonna go trad."
Very interesting there. So he says, we're concerned about people that are trying to destroy us, and what we really should be focused on is, self improvement and getting a job and doing things that are more personal. And look, I'm not against that, but everyone I've seen, every person who self identifies as a third positionist that I've seen has gotten in better shape. And big shout out to Norma Paulo on Twitter. He posted a picture the other day showing how much weight he's lost. He said 11 pounds, and he looks it, man. He looks jacked, especially compared to the way that I saw him in his previous interviews. That guy's gotten in shape. Everyone's gotten in better shape. Doesn't mean that everyone who's in our campus is necessarily the pinnacle of aesthetics, but they're better than they were before, and that I think is a telling thing. Like, the ideology in itself tends to direct people into self-reform. So, and I can say this from personal experience. I'm in a lot better shape than I was 3 or 4 years ago. So, look, this is the weird thing, though. This is what I want to get to. If we should be focusing on self-improvement and working out, why don't you make that the focus of your channel? Why don't you make that the focus of your streams? Why is it that you're doing all of these streams where you seem to be focused on these things that you say we're too focused on, right? Why are you dressing up like a Hasidic rabbi and trolling people on Omegle? I just have to wonder, I mean, if we're stupid for doing this, why are you doing it now, only a few months after making this statement? What changed? So my theory is, I think that he existed in the Paleocon movement as a way to delegitimize them. I don't think that the whole firestorm that came after the Catboy date was planned. I think that was totally organic, and I don't think they expected that. But I think what they want to do is slowly inject this sort of degeneracy into their movement and then explain it away with irony. Just brush it off by saying, well, it's just a joke, right? Anytime anybody questions this, we'll just say it's a joke, right? Except that, like, one of the streams he did, he actually drank out of like some big black horse dildo, and somebody on Twitter actually went through the trouble of finding that exact dildo on eBay and showing that it was priced at $150. So he's like, did you buy this just for this prank, this one-time prank? You spent $150 on a one-time joke that wasn't even that funny? So, is this guy really joking? I mean, what we've seen so far seems to indicate he's pretty degenerate. And I have one more clip to show you. I got one more spicy bit. But before that, I want to just say, I think that this whole thing where he's essentially copying the old GDL stuff, I think that this is an attempt to rebrand himself into our movement, ingratiate himself among people that are essentially ascendant, because the Fuentes Amnat thing has become irrelevant, but we still are. So he's going to try to ingratiate himself into us and essentially do the same op, because just because the America First ship is sinking doesn't mean that Cammy has to sink with it, right? He's been around before, and he'll probably be around after. He'll just keep rebranding himself, and in this case, he's decided to drop the optics and adopt a form of humor that's at the same time not red pilling anyone, because it only appeals to people who are already on our side, but also makes us laugh and makes us think that he's so based and he's so funny. Meanwhile, he's got all this degenerate shit in his past that can be thrown against us. If you're retweeting this guy, if you're following this guy and promoting this guy, people like Vosh are gonna look at this and go, "Huh, why are you supporting this disgusting, pedophile?" That's what's going to happen. So just consider what this might be, and the fact that there's all these weird circumstances surrounding this guy and his investigation into the FBI, and this interview in itself, the nervous laughing, again, he seems so dishonest to me. He's clearly hiding something. Well, we got one more clip I'm going to play for you here. Really really highlight, in case you're wondering if this guy, maybe he's reformed his life, maybe he's not as degenerate anymore. Let's just listen to this.
That's it.
Right. So you never have been in a relationship with a man.
No.
So I
fucked a trap once.
Oh no, that's good. That's amazing. Yeah. So were you in a relationship?
I've said that before on stream too.
Cool. Were you in a relationship with this man?
No.
So you just had sex with this man?
Yeah, it was cuter than most chicks though, so like.
Okay.
It wasn't that gay.
Because that's strange. Fuentes seemed to adamantly push this idea that you're straight. And I think that's kind of strange. Are you on the trap question? What do you think about that? If you have sex with a trap, does that make you? Can you still be straight?
That's kind of gay, but I mean, it's like I can't pop a chub to like a dude that like looks like a dude. And it's like, again, I'm not really someone that's ashamed of anything. I think the shame part of my brain short circuited some time ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if I was like attracted to men, I wouldn't really be like.
Okay, so you're attracted to the
like
feminine aspects.
Concerned with hiding it or anything like that. So yeah, I've never been able to like pop a chub to a guy that looks like a guy, but if it's like a super feminine looking trap, I can usually get that to work.
Ye old reliable Jim Norton excuse. I sucked a feminine penis. It doesn't count. I mean, this is the kind of shit this guy is saying. I've never been in a relationship with a man, but I fucked a trap once. But it doesn't count. It was a very feminine looking man. I mean, Jesus Christ. And I just had an argument today with a paleocon on Twitter. It was like, these people don't support homosexuality and degeneracy. Really? Really, they don't? Oh, it's the same Milo excuse, right? I don't endorse everything these people do. Yeah, you just happen to surround yourself with degenerate, disgusting people like this. And again, this guy is now trying to distance himself from the Groiper paleocon sphere and try to re-ingratiate himself with the more bad optics crowd like ourselves. And I'm just saying this. Look, you can enjoy this guy's streams. It's funny as fuck. I'm not saying it's not funny. I'm not trying to shame anybody for enjoying the blackface streams by any stretch. I laugh my ass off too. But it's sort of like when Devin Stack talked about degeneracy and I think he was talking about 9 Inch Nails, but he said, if it wasn't enjoyable, it wouldn't work. If it didn't have an appeal to you, that it wouldn't be able to be effective. And that's my worry, is that this is an attempt to take humor that they already know, the feds already know we enjoy, and then try to package it with a person who is extremely toxic, extremely radioactive, disgusting, has an extremely degenerate past, and seems to be very dishonest about it in order to delegitimize us. I mean, think about it. If you have a militant movement that is attempting to affect real change, the worst thing that you could possibly do, the thing that will turn away the best men, is to inject people like this into that movement. That's a surefire recipe for turning away men of action. So I'm just saying, like, don't endorse this guy, don't retweet him, don't share his shit. You can enjoy it, but this guy is toxic, and we need to keep that in mind. And there's a very real possibility that this guy is also a federal asset. So yeah, just a little tinfoil hat theory for you, just something to bounce around. But even if he's not, extremely degenerate, unrepentant about it, and yeah, I mean, look. We don't need this shit either. Just because the paleocons claim that they're against degeneracy doesn't mean that we should accept it, just to spite them, right? So yeah, I'm just saying, like, fuck this guy, fuck all these people. This guy's disgusting. He deserves to be pushed out of every movement, everything. He's just worthless. So yeah. But yeah, if you wanna listen to more, there's a lot more spicy information coming out of this interview. I just didn't want to plagiarize all of Leo Pirate's content. So if you want to listen to the whole interview, I think it's about half an hour long. I'm going to put the link in the description. It is absolutely amazing. So yeah, thank you, and good night.